Hey guys, it's my review of the Haunted Mansion 2023 spoiler review. Yes, that's right, I'm back to review another film. So here we go. Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is DJ Craig. If you are here because of the Murder She Wrote podcast or Into the Woods or whatever reason why you're here, please subscribe. You're welcome. This is a safe space and I intend to review more films. I want to do a video about the Halloween franchise because I got a lot to say about the latest three films that were released and the latest Scream films. I want to talk about those. And of course, Jurassic World. I got a lot of things to say about that as well. So I went and I saw The Haunted Mansion 2023 today, and it was really great. I think most of the reviews here on YouTube are completely wrong. I think this movie works on so many levels, and I'm going to dive deep into it and tell you why. That it has a really great message, a couple messages at its core that I think people need to know. But before I review that one, I'm going to talk a little bit about the first movie, Haunted Mansion 2003. And I don't have any of the fancy smancy editing software. I can't show you clips of what I'm talking about, not the new movie, not the old movie, not any other movies I'm referencing. So I'm sorry, I cannot do that. So I'll be showing you pictures and different things like that. So we're going to be talking about this movie first. So for those of you who may not know, and I did excessive research, and also look at my cool shirt. You got a friend in me, Toy Story, perfect for this review of Haunted Mansion because I didn't have any like Haunted Mansion shirt. It's a Disney shirt. I love it. Anyway, got it from my dad with his birthday money he sent me. Anyway, um, so in 2003, Disney was kind of in a strange transitional period where its animation films like Lilo and Stitch underperformed at the box office as well as Atlantis the Lost Empire. And so they decided to focus on their attractions. And they did a couple of films that did not go so well. One of them being Pirates of the Caribbean, which turned into a franchise. But two of them, The Country Bears, you all remember that crazy film, and of course, The Haunted Mansion did not do so well at the box office. It was helmed by Eddie Murphy, and that's Beverly Hills Cop. All of them, I love him in that. Eddie Murphy had been in a couple of Disney things, most notably Mulan, voicing Mushu. Mulan in 1998. Um, and so he was having a bit of a rough patch in the early 2000s. He was in that weird movie Pluto Nash. I don't have to show you a picture. Just look it up on YouTube and you will find that it was a very messed up film. Also, this is before he would do Meet Dave. So, yeah. Um, also, I mean, he was in Daddy Daycare that same year as well. And one of the biggest hits of 2003 for Disney, aside from Pirates of the Caribbean, was Finding Nemo. And fun fact, Finding Nemo is the highest selling DVD of all time. And no other DVD that's ever been released has been as successful as that one. Just a fun fact I thought I'd throw at you. So anyway, um, the Haunted Mansion is one of the um attractions at Disney. I've never been. I hope to someday, but I don't know if that's in the cards for me. But basically, if you want to know the full fledged history of this attraction, look up um, Park History. It's a channel on YouTube. And if you search Haunted Mansion, a video will come up with a whole essay on how the attraction came to be. but I have ADHD. I didn't obtain all the information I should have, but I got the Cliff Notes version. So, the Haunted Mansion was built in 1969 because Disney himself wanted a New Orleans square, and he wanted a haunted mansion because New Orleans is known for its supernatural activity. They have several ghost tours, I'm told. I would like to go to New Orleans someday. Anyway, um, so he wanted a haunted mansion, and ordinary to achieve this, he hired somebody, I don't know his name, and he presented him with several ideas. One of them being, three of the most popular ideas was a woman who gets married and she decapitates all her husbands. Nobody knows why. Another guy, a ghost who collects people's souls and carries his head around in a hat box. And then the mansion being a place for wayward ghosts who have no place to go. All three of these stories are put forth in the Haunted Mansion 2023. Not so much in Haunted Mansion 2003, which is incredible. So, the funny thing is, when these ideas were initially presented to Disney, he rejected them. And was like, this is the happiest place on earth, guys. We can't have this. And, well, eventually they hired a guy and they condensed the stories down to where they wouldn't be so creepy. Although they kind of still are. But what can you do? So, in 2003, for some reason, they decided to go in a completely different direction of a story that was not presented in the Haunted Mansion, if I am remembering correctly from the video I watched. So the 2003 one features two realtors, husband and wife team. Yes, the mom and dad are alive. Good on you, Disney. I mean, you've been messing with our head for years. Bambi's mother. I mean, one of the parents got to be alive or dead. It's really weird. But anyway, both parents are alive. And they're realtors. But I mean, Eddie Murphy is funny. I mean, like I said, I love him in these movies, because that brand of comedy works. Oh, and speaking of Lilo and Stitch, look at this. Look at this. Before I went and I saw the movie, I got this at a store. It was on sale. It's Stitch. I love Stitch. I love Lilo and Stitch. I'm scared of the remake. I'm so scared of the remake. Anyway, sorry, squirrel. So, sometimes I get off subject. What can I tell you? I have ADHD. So anyway, so we have two realtors, and Eddie Murphy's character is more working than the mom does. I don't get that. But you can tell that there are moments in this film where Eddie Murphy is trying desperately to be funny in scenes that he doesn't need to be funny. Like, you can tell that there are moments where the actors are like, oh my god, when is he going to stop talking? When am I supposed to say my line? Oh my god, he went off script. I have no idea where we are. Like, what are we doing? You can tell that there are moments like that, especially with Terrence Stamp. Awesome actor who plays the butler, and you can tell he's annoyed in several scenes. So the wife gets invited to go to the mansion to see it, and she thinks it's because they want to sell it. But the father thinks of this as an opportunity to bond with his kids, which is the son he's been in like cameos and like Stuart Little 2, Spider-Man. I wonder what happened to him. And then the daughter, I think she was in Are We There Yet? I wonder what happened to her. I ain't looking it up. But anyway, so they go and see this as a golden opportunity to have a family vacation, but stop at this house on the way. They stop at the house. They have no idea throughout the entirety of the movie, spoilers, that they're talking to ghosts. And, a lot of people give this movie a lot of shit. They basically rip this movie to shreds. They say, oh my god, it's ridiculous, it's stupid, it's dumb. But if you strip away the awkward comedy of Eddie Murphy, who tries desperately to bring a little bit of funny to this very dark story, because this was the era of Disney where we actually got to learn lessons and people weren't misunderstood, like on Hocus Pocus 2. She sucks the lives out of children. She's misunderstood. Don't worry, I'm doing a Hocus Pocus video soon. I promise you. I got lots to say about Hocus Pocus 2. But anyway, um, they let people be evil in the early 2000s. And except for this now, let's sugarcoat everything and there are no evil people in this world. But there are so many evil people in this world. Anyway, um, so uh they go to this house and they get, of course, stuck in it because it's raining and the bridge has been washed out or something dumb like that. In every horror cliche, the bridge is always washed out no matter what. So they can't leave, and it turns out that the wife Sarah looks exactly like a woman from the 1800s who killed herself and said that she did not love her beloved, who then killed himself. And so there's like a curse on the mansion to where they can't move on. There's also Madame Leona, played by Jennifer Tilly, who's in a floating bowl, whose purpose makes no sense at all. There's a lot of like plot holes and things that don't make sense in the 2003 movie. But if you strip away, I'm getting to the point. If you strip away the awkward comedy of Eddie Murphy, who tries desperately to, like I said it before, tries to make this a little bit, like tries to make this a little bit funny in an otherwise depressing story, you get to the heart of the story. And you have a black woman in the 1800s wanting to be with a white man. And everybody, of course, is against this, which is so stupid because everybody was always against interracial marriages, which is dumb. Um, and stupid, but And it turns out the butler poisoned her and prevented them from getting together because she was black. And he has put a curse on the whole house. He thinks by bringing Sarah there and killing her and letting her and the master reunite, that the curse will be lifted. Once this is all revealed, I can only say I think he's dragged to the gates of hell through the fireplace. Watch it on Disney Plus. I promise you it's interesting. But it takes a while for us to get there at that core story. And it's very depressing and it's very sad and very wrong on so many levels. And I can't believe Disney actually did a compelling story like that underneath the funny of Eddie Murphy. And it's not his fault. He did the best he could. I mean, the material that he had to work with, just just watch the movie and you'll see. But despite, some plot holes, some weirdness, like singing heads, find the key, find the key, find the glorious key, is interesting, and Madame Leona's, vague references, and the fact that they had to go through so much stuff before what I just said in a matter of 11 minutes takes almost an hour and something to be revealed. It's a very interesting movie, and I like it. I watch it around Halloween every single time. And of course, I also loved Raven Simone's rendition of Superstition by Stevie Wonder, which is actually played in the new movie. Okay, so let's get into this new movie. Now, so I was going into this, like, I saw the trailer, I thought it was interesting. That's what drawn me to it. Also, big, huge fan of Jamie Lee Curtis, obviously because of Halloween, and various other things she's done over the years. Love Tiffany Haddish, love Danny DeVito, love Owen Wilson. Um, so I thought this will be very interesting. This might be really great for them. And I know there is an actor's strike, there is a writer's strike. And I hope that both sides get what they're asking for because they deserve it. I don't know or understand it completely, and I'm not going to comment on it or bring it into a discussion because I'm not entirely sure what I'm talking about. And I'm bringing it up now because I don't want you to think that I'm ignoring it. But I hope they get whatever it is that they're asking for. And even though I don't understand it, it does matter. That's all I'm going to say about it. Now we're moving on. So, going into this movie, I was a little like, it takes a lot for me to go out in public. And I'm starting to like venture out, and I'm going to explain exactly what I mean by that because this movie ties in with another reason why I have not posted a video in so long on this channel. And I had no idea the movie was going to hit me that hard with it, and I'm going to explain. I'm going to get into a very heavy subject, so trigger warning for anyone that suffered a loss or is grieving for anyone right now. So, when I saw Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, that was the first movie I've seen since 2018, Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. Got a lot to say about that, but that's a separate video for a different day. But anyway, so it takes a lot for me to want to go to the movies. And when I went to go see Indiana Jones, I saw the trailer for this, and I was like, okay, this looks interesting. I want to go see this. And I did. And I kind of like was like, oh, I think I'm going to regret this. Because everywhere you looked on YouTube, bad review, bad review, bad review, bad review. This sucks, this sucks. Every article, it is a box office bomb. Oh, Disney has failed once again. This is not interesting. So I'm thinking, oh my god, this is bad. But then I'm the kind of person that if you tell me, oh my god, this movie sucks, I want to see it. Because I want to see why it sucks. I want to see why you formed that opinion. And I want to form it for myself and know what I feel about it myself. So I was really scared, and with Indiana Jones, I had managed to avoid all that and then had my own opinion posted on this channel. But this, I was like, I tried to stay away from the reviews. I tried to stay away from the articles so that I could form my own opinion. But you can't help but see that on YouTube. It will pop up in your recommendations if you like film reviews or whatever. So, you know, you're at the core, you're just like, oh my god, is this going to suck? And the first 15 minutes, I thought, oh my god, I have made a terrible mistake. Because I was so confused. The movie starts with Jamie Lee Curtis having some sort of voiceover, and she explains that New Orleans is like the center stone for supernatural activity, and people actually rejoice at funerals, and it's a different type of way of life or whatever, and it could change you if you're open to it. And so we get introduced to Ben, and he meets this woman at a bar, and it's New Year's, and like, he's like, I don't know, some scientist person. When he started explaining all that stuff, like, you lost me. But they become a couple, and somehow he makes a ghost camera. And then we flash forward to several years later, because I don't know what year that was supposed to be, and she's no longer with him, and he's doing tours. And we had Merle Hunter from Taxi have a small cameo as a woman named Carol. This woman, this is the movie's only sin. This woman was like a comedic actress in her day, and she gets virtually nothing to do in this movie, except for how to have that small cameo, which kind of sucks. She deserved. She's so funny. She's been in so many different things. Look her up. Like, look at Taxi, and she's there. Um, but anyway, like, So Owen Wilson plays a priest, and he comes to him, or no, we get introduced to him, establish Ben's character, then we get introduced to Gabby, played by Rosie O'Dawson, who is one of my favorite actresses since she played Mimi in Rent. Oh my god, love her, love Rent. Um, so we get introduced to her and her son, who is 9 years old. Awesome little actor. Hope to see you in other things. And they go into this house. He encounters the creepy bride who decapitates her husbands. And he tells his mom the house is haunted. And, like, I really didn't understand what they were trying to do with Ben. Because, like, he stops the tour at one point because they're, like, talking about the supernatural elements of New Orleans. And he goes, I've been here for years and I haven't seen no ghosts. There's no ghosts whatsoever. This never gets brought up again. That's the 2 cents. That's the only thing. So then, uh, Gabby and her son go into the house. He gets spooked by the bride ghost. Tries to tell his mom the place is haunted. She doesn't believe him. And then, um, they find a suit of armor standing behind her, or behind her son. And they both decide to leave. Well, then I'm thinking, God, I must have missed something. Because here comes Owen Wilson, being a priest and says, do you want to be a hero? She'll give you $2,000. He goes to the house. She says, before you come in here, I gotta tell you, this is about to change the course of your life. So do you still want to come in? And she even has the money in his hand. He takes it, comes in, the camera's not working. He pretends like the camera is working when it's not. And she ends up she could see right through this and nothing happens. But then when he goes home, a ghost has followed him. Some sailor ghost follows him, and there's a lot of CGI of water and a lot of weirdness there that I felt was unnecessary. Um, but the ghost tells him to go back, to go back to the house. So he goes back to the house, and it turns out that the reason why they're still there is because when they left, a ghost followed them and made them come back. Anyone that comes in the house and leaves, a ghost follows them and makes them come back. Tiffany Haddish is a media, like a ghost communicator, whatever they call themselves. She gets stuck in the house. Eventually, of course, Danny DeVito is a professor who knows the history of the house, and he has a heart condition, so they tell him that he can't come, but eventually he does show up. But at the core, the story is the same as I said before. You have a bride who, for some reason, decapitates all the men she marries, which, I don't know. And then you have Ichabod Crane, who was a horrible, evil man who killed people because apparently he was left out in the cold and he was abandoned, and then became a rich dude and invited all the people that turned their back on him and treated him like he was weird and killed them, decapitated them one by one. And then when he died, when his servants turned on him and decapitated him, um, I know, really dark, huh? Um, he then became a dude who uh, collected 99,000 souls in the Haunted Mansion. And so he's a killer in life and a killer in death. And that is as dark as a Disney movie you can get, with the exception of The Hunchback of Notre Dame, which I think that is the darkest movie in Disney's history. I mean, it took me forever to realize that Basically, in the song Hellfire, Quasimodo's master is basically saying that he really wants to have sex with the gypsy girl, and if she doesn't have sex with him, she gonna die. Damn. And that was in a kid's movie. I know I just ruined your childhood, sorry. But the fact is, you know, this is a very dark movie. And then there's like a lesson at its core. And there was a moment. Like I did not know it was gonna go this hard. Throughout the movie we think we're having a every other weekend situation with the kid, you know, with Gabby's son. Because he says, I've been talking to my dad. And we think his dad is alive. And also, Ben is grieving for his wife and really wants to see her, but she's passed over. He can't see her. And we think that, the bad ghost dude is going to get him. But no, it's the kid because the kid's dad. Um, so you all have wondered why I haven't posted a video in a while. My dad passed away from cancer on April 2nd, 2022. I was up there with him when he passed away. I was there for the last week of his life. I don't know what kind of cancer he had. But I was there. My siblings left me to take care of him by myself, and his wish was to die at his home. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And I got him home, and he died Saturday morning at 5:10 in the morning. And there's this moment in this movie that I was not expecting it to go so hard. I was not expecting it to go in this direction because I have been trying to move on with my life and trying to figure out, what to do beyond the Murder She Wrote podcast and what to do with this channel. And I miss my father so much, you guys. And there's the scene where we realize that the bad ghost guy wants the kid, and he's tricking him and pretending to be his dead dad. And then he says, when Ben goes to rescue him because he's trying to get him to suck him into the ghost realm or whatever. It's really hard to explain because I don't really understand the ghost realm either, but he's trying to get him to come with him so he could be the final Soul 1000. And he says to Ben, he says, every day's hard because he's not here anymore. I go to sleep and I wake up and I think it's a dream, but I know that he's not here and I can't talk to him. And maybe if I go in there, maybe I'll be able to see him because I miss him so much. And it's like I wrote that because I have been feeling that same way. And I'm going to get very vulnerable. I'm going to get very vulnerable right here. I was alone when my father passed away. My siblings decided not to come up there. And they didn't come and take my father's body away for like 4 hours, and I was there. I mean, his girlfriend was there, but it's like she went in survival mode and she couldn't take it anymore, and so I was there all by myself, pretty much, and I wanted to die because he was gone, and I was all alone, and I didn't know what to do, and I missed him so much, and I'm so sorry my phone just went off in a very vulnerable moment. But like I said, don't have the fancy smancy software to edit. But anyway, um, and I just wanted to go. I just felt so alone. But then in that scene, Ben says, "But you have to choose life. It's hard. There are good days, there are bad days, but he would want you to be safe. He would want you to be alive. He would want you to be with your mom. And we can talk about our grief, but we have to keep on living for them because they are where they're supposed to be. And we're where we're supposed to be." Sorry. Um, and that's basically what my best friend Jennifer did. Like, I watched them take my father's body away because there was nobody else there to make sure that they wouldn't hurt him. And I watched them take him away, and I fell to the floor onto my knees, and I cried so much that I could have been like Alice in Wonderland and cried over 1,000 tears and made a river. And she just kept telling me, "It's okay, you're going to be okay." And she came and got me. She came and got me, and I will forever be grateful because she was the light. And I'm glad that I'm still here. But I miss my dad every day, and this movie does a very good lesson of this. You know, it's okay to miss the people that are no longer here, but don't stop living. They know that you love them, and they know how much you miss them, and they are proud of you. But you stopping living isn't going to bring them back. And I know that it's hard sometimes. God knows I know how hard it is. But you have to keep going because you're here. You're still here for a reason, and you matter. And that's what I have to keep telling myself every day. I miss my dad so freaking much. Not being able to pick up the phone and call him, and I had no idea going to this movie. I thought I was going to laugh. I had no idea I was going to bawl in the damn theater. And bawl like I'm doing right now, even thinking about it. And it was like it seemed fitting because I went to the Hallmark Gold Crown store and found this awesome ornament. It says, "Dad and me, warm and cozy together." And I'm going to put that on my tree this year. Sorry if I got vulnerable. I told you all, trigger warning, before I got started. But that's a very good lesson. And there's this moment where Tiffany Haddish talks about losing her dad. I mean, common theme in this movie, where her dad liked to take apart model trains and put them back together and take them apart. And on her days when she's really, really low, she hears a train whistle in the distance and she knows that that's her dad saying hello to her. And whenever I'm feeling down and my days are really bad, um, I think of like the Beatles because my father loved the Beatles so much. And I just sing a Beatles song and it gives me a good feeling because I sang Beatles songs to him before he died. And he loved that. So, I mean, that's a good lesson. Life goes on, and we'll get to see them again someday, but stopping living is not something they'd want us to do. And I know it's hard, but we have to keep on going, one day at a time. Another lesson in this film that I think people need to learn, aside from what I just said, is also um you can pick your family. Your family does not have to be blood. I mean, these characters come together and become a family and protect each other. And Jamie Lee Curtis, like in this movie, fantastic. Not a lot to do, but with the material she's given, she, oh my god, is freaking amazing. At her at the core, and of course she's always amazing. But like I like I said before, I don't I did not realize the movie was going to go that far. I didn't realize I was going to cry like I did, you know? And at first I was ashamed that I wanted to die, that I wanted to commit suicide if I had stayed in my father's house and my friend didn't come get me. But I'm not going to be ashamed of it because we've all felt like that at some point during our lives. But the point is, I'm here and I'm supposed to be here. And you're supposed to be here, whoever is watching this video. And I really loved this movie. I thought it was way better than the 2003 movie. I thought everybody did a fantastic job who was in it. Um, I hope this comes out on Blu-ray or DVD so I can put this in my collection so I can own it. I really, really want this in my collection so that I can enjoy it every once in a while because it gave me such a better piece about my father, you know, and really opened me up to that. Um, that I can maybe move on, but I will always miss him no matter what, and I will still cry for him. Saturdays are hard. And this movie was so good. Anybody who has suffered a loss of a parent of anyone will understand exactly what they're trying to say in this movie and how tempting it would be to be to jump into something because someone says you can see whoever again and how he would have to wrestle with that decision both for Ben and for Gabby's son. And the acting is so superb. And I hope that by me buying a ticket, they get some sort of money because they deserve it. Um, and if Disney made more movies like this, it might be interesting. Because I don't know if you would consider this a remake. I don't know if you would consider this a prequel. I don't really know. I mean, the only connection that it had with the original was it played Stevie Wonder's Superstition. That's the only similar thing. Which the only difference between the two is Raven Simone sung that for the 2003 one, and then they just used Superstition, Stevie Wonder's original version. So that's the only thing. I don't even know if the 2003 one was set in New Orleans. I don't know. I don't know. I can't remember. I don't think they say what it's set in, but it's incredible, you know? And this is what films are supposed to do. They're supposed to give you emotions. They're supposed to make you laugh. They're supposed to make you cry. And it's been a long time since a movie's done that to me. Made me laugh, made me cry, made me be engaged in it. And like, I'm sick of all these sequels and remakes and prequels. And I'm probably not going to see any more movies in theaters this year. Um, The Haunting in Venice looks interesting. Tina Fey is playing a character she's never played before. Give her an Academy Award right now because she seems interesting, but not enough to make me want to go watch it. Um, but like there's not a lot of movies coming out that makes me want to go watch it. Honestly. Um, And that is sad because, the very first movie I ever saw in theaters was Jurassic Park. The second movie I ever saw in theaters was The Lion King, 1993 and 1994. And I can't believe that everything in 1993 is 30 years old now. I'm 33. Yikes. So basically, if, like, we need some original ideas. And this felt like the way you should do a movie based on a ride. Take all three of the most popular stories and put them in one and then add characters around that. I mean, of course, it wasn't perfect all around. I mean, there were moments where there was too much comedy and then when they have a conflict and it's way too easily resolved. But I mean, those moments actually worked for this movie versus other movies where it doesn't. I mean, personally, I think that weird movie that has dogs cussing is kind of like probably the worst movie of 2023. This Haunted Mansion 2023 so far, in my opinion, is the best movie of 2023. I'm sorry if you don't agree. But just because I say it doesn't mean you have to agree. This is just my opinion. It doesn't have to be yours. We're talking about a movie. We're not talking about the way I look or whatever. But tell me in the comments below what you thought of this movie. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think of the 2003 version? And I'm sorry that I got so vulnerable, but hopefully maybe it would help somebody out there who's going through a similar situation. Because I miss my dad. I miss him so much. Christmas was such a special time for us. He would come down here and he would take me to Waffle House and we would chow down. And I miss him so much. But I love my best friends, Jennifer, Michelle, Faye, and Jennifer's two kids. I mean, we are a family. And they accept me for who I am. And if you have some people in your life like that, you are more lucky than you could ever know. And family doesn't have to be blood. The greatest friends are the ones who become family. I think that was on Winnie the Pooh once. The cartoon, not the creepy ass version they've come out with. But anyway, I think I'm gonna end that here. Soon I am going to do a Hocus Pocus 2 video because I have so much to say about that movie. Ugh, I hated it. As well as the latest Halloween movies and the latest Scream movies coming at you soon. Thank you so much, and as remember, you don't have to like the video, but you can subscribe if you want to. You could comment if you want to. Like I said, tell me what you thought of the movie, of both of the movies. And I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.